So I think we are live. We should be ready to go. I'm gonna tell you guys are the best guys in the sports gaming community. I don't care what nobody say. You guys are a lot of people who think for yourself. You guys rock with people who think for themselves. You guys rock with people who are willing and able to show you that who are the real gamers out here. You are the ones that want to be real gamers out here, and you show that you guys are at the same time. Really appreciate you guys that are here already. This is First and Framerates episode 184. Myself, DJ81. I think Bills has another engagement. He will not be here today, but nevertheless, we are going to show you guys how it's done when it comes to these sports gaming podcasts and streets. We don't pull out the all stops to try to expose people. None of the drama, none of this stuff. It's none of that's manufactured. We are here to just talk about topics of the week. And if that type of stuff happens, it happens. And today, we're just going to keep it really simple today. We're going to talk about these next gen expectations. We're going to talk about should they be catered to? Should they be tempered? Should they be hyped? I think it's just going to be a really easy discussion to have because not much happened in the last couple of days. So we're going to get on that. If you haven't already, the link down in the description and in the banner, the frame rate gear is out. A couple of guys already got their merch. They look really cool in it. Good to see them guys have it. They're happy with their purchase. And it looks like pretty hot quality stuff. I haven't had the chance to get our stuff yet. I don't know what the issue is, but hopefully by sometime next week we'll get it because their shipping is not like really, I'm not saying it's not fast, but I think for the most part the stuff is made to order. So when you order it, it's going to take some time. So they got to press it and put it on the shirts. They're not just like sitting in the warehouse waiting. So when you order it, it's just going to take, especially the face mask and stuff. They said it takes a minute as well. So hopefully you guys check that out. We do have a Patreon. We do have a Discord. You can catch this on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Spotify. If you have not, you can't catch us live or whatever the case may be. So go ahead and find that out and find those on the Google Sphere, and also subscribe to those as well. All right, we're going to talk about, like I said, the next gen, and I'm going to let DJ talk about his experience for the past couple of days and put in his intro. How you been, man?
Man, I've been good. Okay, I was just making sure that I wasn't still muted. But yeah, everything's been good. Had my stream last night. Kind of mixed it up. Talked about a little bit of Alex Smith's comeback. I definitely went into it a little bit more, and then talked about the Washington football team rebuild struggles, and went into politics a little bit. So I figure everybody left by that time. But I appreciate everybody that came through. And I've been gaming. I can't. I know tonight by midnight, NHL 21 for me unlocked. So I really can't wait.
Right. I forgot that came out. I might need to get that. I've been gaming as well. I don't know if you check my Twitter, all the Steam achievements I've been getting. EA has downloaded. You can download the desktop beta for
already
EA.
Downloaded.
It looks nice. I love the way it looks. It looks really good. Real quick, if you guys want to see what it look like, we're gonna share the screen real quick. Really, really quick. That's what it looks like. The new EA beta looks really nice. Hopefully they keep that around. I'm pretty sure they are because the old one looks real outdated. So just wanted to show that to you guys. Also, shout out to everybody who's on Twitch.
All right, wait, hold on. Pooh L. VF is the only one wearing sunglasses. He said, why are you still wearing your glasses?
Hey man, this how it is right now, man. This is what's going on. So this how it's going to be. This is why I'm wearing my glasses. It just looks dope around these parts. But shout out to everybody who's on Twitch. I think most people got the notification. I'm really, 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 really close of getting an affiliate. I'm like a few viewers short. Everything else is there. I just need the viewers to be up, and I'll be a Twitch affiliate. I appreciate y'all for supporting me over there. I really, really appreciate it. Quaface is over there on YouTube, and BigZayMack is on YouTube as well. He is happy that his Cardinals won. Appreciate that.
We didn't want to flash the picture that Pooh put up of him being on receipt watch and everything.
I mean, he's always on receipt watch. It's crazy, right? But shout out to everybody who was here. Like I said, everything is a go. So we're gonna talk about these next gen consoles. I don't have much to talk about them, but one thing that crossed my plate on Twitter that I saw that the new Yakuza and Dirt 5, both of those games don't run at 4K 60, and I'm kind of, I'm a little disappointed in that. Both of those games aren't really demanding, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. So now I'm asking, should the expectations of next gen be tempered? Because a lot of people around here are hyping them up. They're saying that these games going to be this, going to be that. I've even heard some place where it says it's going to be 4K 120, and I'm like, all right, now we need to slow down because, like I said, Yakuza. The new Yakuza game, I'm pretty sure like Sega does a really good job of optimizing their games. A lot of people don't know. You go on PC right now, you go play Bayonetta, you can play any of the Yakuzas, you can play Vanquish, you could play like any other of those Sega games that are out. They're very well optimized, and even on the PS4 Pro, that game runs at 4K 60 or 1440p 60. I think Yakuza 6 or something like that. They do a real job of optimizing the game. So why in the world the next on PS5, the new Yakuza game is going to be 4K 30, or I think it says 4K with variable frame rate on the Xbox Series X? I have a problem with that. These games should be running 4K 60 easily based on what I've seen with the specs. It should be. So what is the problem? DJ, what are your thoughts about this?
First of all, we had niggas on the timeline fighting over the new release of the PS5
my God.
UI.
Oh my God. I'm not even gonna go there. I saw that.
And that right there should tell you to temper your expectations when the big thing that happened today was people just fighting over the UI. And when I mean niggas, I ain't just talking about the users and the console fanboys going with this console war. I'm also including the companies Sony and Microsoft. Yes, you guys are niggas today because that is some bullshit. Just really, it was basically like a dick measuring contest with the UI. So honestly, I don't care about the UI. Keep it simple, long as I can create folders and put games in those folders so it stays nice and clean. That's all I'm worried about. But
my main thing is that the UI don't need to be laggy, because that's been a problem since the PS3. Laggy UI, and there was a problem on PS4 until they did like update number 6 or something like that. Like they had a laggy UI where you couldn't even see your friends list at one point. It was real bad.
Yeah, and then on top of that, tempering expectations to where performance is more important. That's where that's where people's expectations should be, to where performance overrides graphical fidelity. You want games 60 plus frames per second on these consoles, because for far too long we've been trying to push 1080p was the standard for the pretty much, I feel like, all the last gen and the tail end of the gen previous. And now it's like we're pushing 4K, but definitely didn't get anything 4K 60 on last consoles. And to try to do it again, and if at the minimum 1440 60 frames per second or more, keep pushing the performance aspect. And that's where I think folks need to keep their expectations at. If you get something at 4K 60, then that's a plus.
I think the thing is, like, you had a few games on Xbox Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro 4K 60. I think you had like Wipeout. You had like some of those like racing games, but that's a remastered game. So I really don't want to count that. Like Baja was a remastered game. Wipeout's a remastered game. I mean, most of them was like around the 1800p. Like even The Last of Us remastered was 1800p. Like they checkerboarded it up to 4K, but I expect these next consoles, and I'm not that big on resolution like that. I want 60 frames all day. But when when I see Yakuza, which is not a game that's not really demanding, is 4K 30, and they're talking about it's possible that it may be variable. I mean, even what was that first game they talked about? Assassin's Creed Valhalla was going to be 4K 30. I'm looking like, what are we doing here? It's like these games are basically running off the same type of performance that the last generation consoles were. Like what are we doing? That's my problem. Like Quaface said, and I don't have a problem with it. And I'm not telling nobody not to be, but I'm just asking the question. He said that he's still gonna be hyped for the new consoles. It's nothing wrong with that. You should be hyped for getting new tech. I'm hype all the time when I get new tech. I have no problem. I'm just looking at it like, why would we pay $500 for something that just gonna give us visual fidelity, but we're still playing at the same performance? Now, with that being said, I expect these games not to be buggy, if that's the case, because you're not pushing any limitations. I expect the games to be run smooth, even if it's at 30 or whatever the case may be. But I mean, if you're not putting the effort to push the limitations of these games, I have a problem with, like, okay, why would you give us a buggy game out when it comes to release, or why would you give us a game that may have problems, whatever the case may be, when you're not pushing the hardware? I mean, that's my issue. I can respect the game that pushes the hardware and have problems. At least you're trying to give us something that it seems like you're working hard. But if you give us something halfway, I'm like, all right, I still got my PS4 Pro. I'm just gonna play, Horizon. What it is again? Faded West. I don't even know. I can't remember the name.
Forbidden.
I'll play Forbidden West on my PS4 Pro if you're not going to give me a legit 4K 60 experience. Why would I do that? I mean that's an honest question. Why would I spend $500 if I'm not going to get that type of performance jump when I'm still getting checkerboard 4K 30 on my Pro? If I'm going to get 4K 30 on the PS5, like, why would I do that?
Now,
that's an honest question.
Now, the problem I see with the consoles and with, the expectations being they're still trying to shoot for 4K 60. And some people may not like it when I say this, but it's the ray tracing.
That too. I didn't even talk about that. You're right.
You go from trying to push 4K 60 on the last consoles and only obtaining 4K 30 to now you've thrown out there 4K 60, but now you add ray tracing. That kind of keeps the frame rate down. So that's why I said at the very beginning, you got to work on performance, make the performance marks your goals, get the 60s, your 70s, your 120 frames per second before you even start thinking about ray tracing and even and getting to the point where you can get all this done in 4K.
But that just goes back to what we were saying last episode when we talked about the weather in games. Mm-hmm. The ray tracing taxes the CPU just like, well, if not worse than weather in games. And like, it's something. This is the thing. People will look at a console, and I'm not knocking. I mean, true gamers that are really fun, that like to have fun and play games, don't really worry about this stuff. And I could tell Quaface is one of them. He's a gamer. He's going to play these games regardless. And it's a knock on. It's not a knock, but I look at it from the people who may not have the money. Some people who are pretty skeptical. People who do play these games and feel like, okay, I'm only seeing what I see. I'm getting $500 worth of what I see, but I don't get that immersive experience because it's just not that next generation leap. So I'm kind of speaking for them. So what I'm saying is like, when you get these consoles to do what we say they should do, like with ray tracing and all this other stuff, that just adds another layer to what are we doing, or what are they doing as far as giving us that next gen experience. Maybe it'll be visual, but I don't want to get, let's say they put ray tracing on Spider-Man or something, and all of a sudden Digital Foundry get a hold of it, and now we're getting 4K 20, or we're getting 4K 15, or we getting 1440p 30 because of the ray. Like, what the fuck at that point? Like, now you playing, now these companies are playing with people, because if that's the case, that they should just say, you know what, we'll wait till we give you the PS5 Pro We'll wait till you give you the Xbox. I mean, honestly, like we'll wait till you give you the Xbox Series X, Triple X, or whatever they call it, and then we'll beef up the console, and then you can get all of that. Because the last thing I want to see is somebody get mad or struggle to justify their purchase when they know bullshit is in their face. Because I don't want to see nobody have ray tracing in the upgraded version of Control, and the game is running at 1440p 30. That's some bullshit.
Yeah, because people would be highly upset if they all of a sudden pushed out a top tier brand that was higher than what they, what was scarcely available in the first place. See, that's another thing. The fact that these next gen consoles, their pre-order, the whole process, the whole limited quantities initially, this is definitely, I'm like, the whole situation is different than the last time we've opened up with new generations of consoles. But come on. We literally had people gatekeeping, talking about, well, we know who the brokies are. And I'm just like, really? There weren't that many consoles available at launch. I'm like, if the fact that they're not able to have, they should not have released these consoles this year. It should have been like next fall, honestly. So that way you could have compensated for COVID and pandemic conditions, and you would have had the available amount of numbers, so you don't have to worry about shortages. But,
to be quite honest, I kind of agree with you, but I feel that Xbox probably couldn't afford to do that. And I'm not saying that from a financial standpoint. I'm just talking about from a name and reputation standpoint. The Xbox One X and the Xbox One, the whole series of the Xbox One brand was like really, bleeding as far as their perception of gaming. I mean, the PC was coming up, they were putting stuff on. I don't know. I mean, I'm still somewhat against that. From a business standpoint, I don't know why they put this stuff on PC, but they put the stuff on PC. Nobody really cared about neither one of the three consoles, the regular one, the S or the X. So to them, they kind of had to come up with something. I think the PS4 could have survived another year. I mean, their sales are still going up. You got to understand, people. There was a pandemic going on. Well, it still is. People were buying consoles because they're staying home. So the PS4 consoles was like still flying off the shelf. I mean, I recently bought one and I had to buy one full price because there are no used ones. So imagine everybody had to buy legitimately brand new consoles, which gives Sony more money than buying a used one, because you buy a used one from GameStop to get no money. But when Sony could have done it. I can't speak for Xbox, but I will say Xbox did not have many in quantity either. But PS4 was still flying off the shelf. So I'm looking at this like, you may be right, DJ. They could have went another year and probably got their tech up. The technology could have got better. Or let's just say, for instance, if they did do this, they did it the way they did. One thing I will commend both sides of doing, they're low-key trying to tout 4K. But if you notice the specs, they're really trying to target, without saying it, they're really trying to target the 1440p crowd or the 1440p resolution, because that's the one that they're saying you can get 1440p 60 or even 1080p 120. Not many things that they're saying is 4K 120. They said that in the beginning, but if you notice, like a lot of these games coming out aren't really talking like that. And I commend them, because I think performance really matters. And I think a lot of us need to understand that these consoles may be very well 1440p 60 consoles. And I don't have a problem with that, but I wish these past consoles should have been that. I think the Xbox One X is a real 4K machine, but it's a 4K 30 machine. The Pro, they say, is 4K as well, but a lot of people don't realize that the PS4 works flawlessly at 1080p. A lot of people don't want to talk about that because they think 1080p is welfare resolution. That's fine. And I mean, that's your perception. I mean, that's how you feel. That's cool. But you can't deny that a lot of games on that console run 1080p 60 frames. And if you want frame rate, you're good to go there. And I think that's, they're trying to market frame rate without saying it. And I think that's okay. But I think like the tempered expectations, I think, is where a lot of people are saying like, oh my God, this is going to be the 4K 60 console. This is going to be the 4K 120 console. Like, some of these games are coming out now telling us there's going to be 4K 30. And that it's concerning to me. I think it's a problem. You know?
Yeah, like I said, my biggest problem is always is not always. It's just the fact that they don't have enough consoles. They didn't have enough consoles to push out there. Neither company did.
So, I think that's another thing. That's another thing that we should keep our expectations tempered as well, because everybody may not get one.
And then you have these games that are supposed to be coming out on next gen. Are going to be that either are launch gen or next gen launch titles along with some other games, or will be filtering out maybe shortly after. Those that took advantage of the $99 price point on current gen for 2K. We know that 2K is coming out when Xbox One X comes out. Oh, right. Series X, my fault. And right now, Madden and FIFA 21. Right now, we don't know.
Yeah, the only thing Madden said is like your progress will transfer over. Now, I mean, we seen like one screenshot, which I'm still wondering if that is a new a screenshot of Tom Brady. They did show the one with Pat Mahomes getting tackled by the guy from Green Bay. That looks a lot like what we were playing now, which I'm kind of concerned about that. But
apparently, I thought I didn't see the actual tweet, but it looked like maybe IGN deleted a tweet that was saying that Madden was probably coming out on next gen in December. But you know how those things sometimes can be a placeholder. So with all the details that came out with 2K and with their movements, and I figured I wish Bills was here, because we would have got. I'm like, we could still talk about it a little bit as far as 2K is concerned. I have a different take. Y'all may not like me after this, but oh well. But right now, Madden and FIFA are behind the curve when it comes to pushing out details for what next gen is supposed to be for their games. And it's actually like they haven't even, like, I know one person talking about, well, it's probably delayed. I was like, well, they never gave us a release date for the next gen version, so it can't really say it's a delay. Again, it's supporting more of the fact that you're going to more than likely get enhanced visuals, maybe a couple of gameplay features exclusive to the haptic controllers on the PS5, and that's probably it. Oh yeah, and maybe in these updates that are coming out in November, they'll be there in time for when the next gen releases, whenever it is, whether it's late November, December, wherever the case may be, these franchise updates. And even then, the franchise updates from what they have scheduled, it's not, at least personally, it's not moving my needle a bit. Mm-hmm. They need a whole lot more to be able to say, hey, we're really doing stuff with this franchise mode. We really were listening to the consumers. Y'all spoke loudly and clearly, and this is what we're doing. Right now, the whole slate is that we won't really see any significant upgrades, at least in franchise mode, until Madden 22. And then it seems like Madden 23, unless they want to say, well, Madden 22 post-release, we're going to add this, and this. But they better be working on all this, because if they're not, and they just push out bullshit, people people will just be upset. Let's just say that.
I really didn't want to talk about Madden when it comes to this, but this is another reason why. I mean, we are a sports gaming, podcast, so I guess we could touch on it a little bit. I'm really concerned about Madden release, because I think we touched on it the last podcast. Madden has not done very well when it comes to going to the next generation of consoles. I mean, the 360, the PS3, the PS4. We look at it now. Now they're being really quiet. I understand it, because they don't want to lead anybody on. I mean, you done had two console generations where you did this, but I think it's getting to the point where it's getting too close to be too silent. It's almost getting to the point where I'm thinking, all right, This is like some NBA Live type of situation where Live hasn't said nothing either, and you come out when Live comes out, you're like, all right, what are we doing here? Shout out to Chris Thomas, Gamer Champ 23, Ravens Nation. You guys are here, appreciate that. Ravens Nation said no point in mentioning Madden. It's going to be the same difference from Madden 25 to PS3 to PS4, better graphics, and that's it. Now, I can agree with that. This game may be the game that runs with ray tracing and may not have a performance dip. This may be the one, like if you look at when Madden came out on from PS3 to PS4, it was basically the 1080p version of PS3. Now, it went to 4K when Madden 18 or Madden 17 came out. One of them, they finally went to 4K. So I think you're going to get a 4K 60 experience, but with ray tracing. That may be the case. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they will give you a graphical upgrade. I don't really know if it's going to be like another game built from the ground up, but from the silence that we know now, I'm starting to think it may be. I'm very worried about that because Madden has no problem pulling all showing off stuff when things look good.
Well,
when things look good, they'll be the first one to show you. They'll be the first one to put out a trailer, put out some screenshots. They'll be the first one to do all this. But when they're quiet, look at NBA Live. I'll just put it like that. You know what I mean? It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, because right now, like I said, I've been screaming port the whole entire time. Like Ravens Nation mentioned it being just better graphics and maybe a couple of new features on the controllers, and that's it. Port basically is what I'm saying, and I'm still gonna say it until they prove otherwise. That's pretty much all I have to say about Madden, because it's not even just with Madden 21, it's also with FIFA 21. What is FIFA going to do? I'm like, people on the Switch are already upset because they basically copied and pasted. They literally sat there and said, they copied and pasted 20 and made it 21 on the Switch. So, the funny thing that the guy at IGN did?
What's that?
He copied and pasted his review of FIFA 20 and just switched the title of FIFA 21.
Oh, wow.
So I thought that was hilarious. But, the very thing that folks are accustomed to accusing EA of doing is copy and pasting and just updating the rosters and even failing at that in a couple of occasions. So, yeah.
All right, give me 1 second. I'm about to show something. All right, show folder. All right, let me expand that. All right, now this is the image that I was talking about. This is the Xbox One or Xbox Series X version of Madden 21. This is what they showed earlier this year.
I'm gonna say allegedly.
I don't know where it is, but on the old one, the first time I saw it, it said it down here. It said using the Xbox Series X engine. It said it down here where my mouse is going off right here. I mean, it don't see. Oh, here it is right here. Let me see if I can pull this up.
I'm still gonna say allegedly.
Let me show you right here. Let me save this. All right, there we go.
Because did it say Series X in engine footage or?
Yes. I'm dead serious when I say this. Here we go. There it is right there. Do you see it at the bottom right there? Work in progress.
Graphics in Xbox Series X engine.
So this is what we're looking at so far for next generation. Now, when you look at what we have now, this may be an early build, but I don't see it's going to be that big of a graphical fidelity to be much different than what we see now.
And honestly, this is why I started screaming port, because other than graphical enhancements and other than I'm like, this reach feature, like when we talked about it before, was same as current gen. It's in there too. So it's just like, what are we really talking about here?
Right. See, that's what I'm saying. And like, I haven't seen anything. To be honest, everybody, I want y'all to understand, this is the only thing that we got. Let me see where. There it is. See my finger right there? This is the only thing that we got when it comes to the next gen version of Madden as of right now. If you look at this is no different from playing Madden on PC right now. It's no different playing Madden on your Xbox One or your PS4. I'm really worried about the game. I mean, and this is like one of the other reasons why I say should they be tempered? Because I'm worried. Now I'm looking at NBA 2K. You see that, I can understand why you would be hyped for that. When you look at let me see if I can pull this one up. Let's see if I can save this one, because this is something is similar, but I don't know how big of a difference this is. This could be ray tracing lighting, but I'm gonna download this one as well, so y'all guys can see this one.
Yeah, because when it came to 2K, like I mentioned
Now
before,
this is another one right here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Y'all see that? Now that looks good. If this is next generation, this looks amazing. But this has not been confirmed that this is on the next gen console. Like the last one, they told you it was on a Series X engine. But this right here looks like something I want to see now with the lighting. Could this be ray tracing that we see? I'm not really sure. But if the game looks like this, I'm okay with that, because this looks great. I have no problem with that. But I don't know what this is.
I feel like that lighting in some form or fashion was in the previous time we tried to upgrade in Generation Madden. Not to this extent, but they darken everybody around them. They shine the light the brightest where they could shine it to make it look like somebody. Because this picture just looks like somebody's holding a flashlight off to the side and just spotlighting Brady.
Right.
Because everybody else is dark. Like the rest of the stadium is dark except for where Tom Brady is. So it's just like, yeah, they're doing that to enhance the picture so you can see the details on Brady, but really nobody else.
I'm really interested in seeing what this is going to be. I mean, this is the things I'm talking about. Let's look at some of the comments. Chris Thomas said, "Any good emulator for a laptop, because I'm trying to play NCAA 14. Get a desktop. I'm gonna be honest with you. Unless if you get a CPU with at least an i7 or maybe a high i5 or maybe a Ryzen 5. Because the PS3 emulator is highly CPU intensive, not really GPU intensive. Get something with a Ryzen 5 or better." What's going on, Complimentary Sports? Appreciate you being here. Quaface said that if it's a port, you'll be playing NBA 2K21 and COD. I don't blame you. Nemesis on Twitch says, "I thought that Madden 25 had a different engine, PS4 on Xbox One, Ignite engine." They did. They kind of got away from it. But when you really look at it under the surface, the game plays a lot like the PS3 versions of the game. True Step was one of the biggest things that they put in Madden 25, that and double team pass blocking. Other than that, it's basically the PS3 version of the game. Ignite engine really helped on, I think it was Live and I want to say NHL, but I'm not sure. DJ, you would know better than I would.
NHL is still on the Ignite engine.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
As of right now, they're still on it. They are reluctant to switch because they see the shit that happened. It's funny that with FIFA, they did a better job of switching to the Frostbite engine better than Madden did. So it's just like, I know these two teams, they have separate engineers. And it's just like, so they got away from it. But understanding how difficult it is to program a football game, but still, I'm like,
but they got away from it though. They got away from Ignite engine too.
But that's what I'm saying. And you would think the one thing that they touted from the very beginning when they talked about consolidating everything, put everybody under one engine minus NHL, that these folks are going to be talking with each other, sharing ideas. It doesn't seem like that's going on, other than the fact that they sent Madden devs to work on Live for a little bit and kind of help with their franchise mode in Live, because Live's, God, they did not have a franchise mode for a while, on top of the fact they didn't have injuries the whole entire time.
No. I mean, you could tell they did some improvements in Live 19 with their franchise mode, but Live 14 franchise mode basically like damn near like Live 10. It was basically a Live 10 franchise, to be honest with you. I mean, you did the letter grade to improve your staff. They did that in Live 10. It was the same. You win 25 games, you get 400 points. Use those 400 points to upgrade your staff. They did the same thing in Live 14. So that basically was the same way until I think it was 18 or 19. They actually tried to do something. But by then, I mean, there was no trade logic. You could trade anybody for anything. Like I traded. I traded. And I'm not even get down that road.
Right.
Optimus Goob says, "Yeah, my expectation has been lowered. They haven't showed anything at this point. It's about to be a port, and I'm kind of worried about that. I'm kind of worried about other games as well. I mean, you have some game like 2K21. I mean, 2K always do this. I mean, they did it when they left the PS2 to the 360. They did it again when the 360 went to the Xbox One. They always do it. I mean, hell, I even said this. Y'all might not even know. NBA Action 98, which is over here on my shelf, that was a visual concepts game made by the same people who made NBA 2K NBA 2K for the Dreamcast. I mean, the upgrade was like phenomenal, but that's another story for another day. Quaface said that last visual was Madden on PC. I can believe that, but with these new consoles, they can show those same visuals, so that's why I'm kind of like worried, like if it is. Complimentary Sports, a little off topic. He said, "Do you know any good recovery software for USB external hard drives?" I don't know. Honestly, when something like that happens, I usually go to one of my retro stores out here, or I'll let somebody do it myself for me. I'll send it to one of these computer repair shops. It'd probably be the best way to do it. And depending on what kind of external hard drive you have, it might not cost that much. So right. I recommend that. I don't want you to buy any recovery software and make it worse. So take it to the pros. Ravens Nation come up with a good point. He said, "Are they still using the same?" A good question. I mean, are they still using the same engine platform for Madden 06? Yes, they are. The Ignite engine was layered on top of that engine, and the Frostbite engine is layered on top of that. So this is one of the reasons why when you look at this Tom Brady picture using weather, this has to be another engine. We talked about weather last episode. Putting dynamic weather or extensive weather in the game will detriment. It could be a detriment to certain games. If you play on PC like me and DJ do, you would know, or like other people, if you turn on weather a certain way, you get a lot of performance issues with doing that. So you have to have a beefy PC for certain games. Like for instance, I was playing Batman Arkham Knight. I'm not Arkham Knight, but Arkham City earlier, and I had to turn down some of the settings just to get above 75 frames per second. If I get like, I mean, don't get me wrong, my PC is no slouch. I mean, I don't have the best one, but it's no slouch when it comes to running in that game. But if I tone it down, like it will tone down if I put the fidelity of the atmosphere up, like the weather or whatever the case may be. It'll go down to 60, in some cases even below. Depends on how, if I put it on like extreme, because they don't have ultra settings, they have extreme settings. So like if you want the city to be like raining all the time and extensive rain or whatever, it could take a hit to your performance. So with a game that's basically ran off the Madden 06 engine, which I say that game was probably been built since 2004. If you think about the development cycle of a new console, like we have to be honest here. The 360 came out in 2005, correct? So we're talking about Madden 06 was probably a game that was built probably around the time NFL 2K5 was not being supported anymore. That's how old this engine is, if you think about it. You know, late 2000, I'm sorry. NFL 2K5 was not supported anymore in January of 05. That was the last time you had an updated roster. That's the last time they did anything to the game. So Madden 06 on the 360 was probably a game that was starting development in 2004. So that's how old this tech is that they're using. It's a 16-year-old tech. So, go ahead.
It's funny. Nemesis Prime brings up a point talking about weather. It says All Pro Football 2K8 had great weather. There was raindrop splashes on the helmets. That was a great detail. Unfortunately, at that time, it wasn't much to put together versus the way they have to do weather now. There's more. More taxation on the CPU, more taxation on the GPU, whether it's on PC, whether it's on consoles, and you may not get the exact details that you got in 2K8, but you'll get something where the environment looks better than it did on 2K8.
Well, yeah. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. You got to think about two things. This game is built different from Madden, so it's a totally different type of game. They probably optimize it for the weather to be that way. Now, also think about this. We can be honest with ourselves. APF graphics aren't the best. Have you seen how these players look with their helmets off? I mean,
See, that's what I was saying about the taxation of it. Is
right,
just that it wasn't demanding. All Pro
right,
Football
exactly,
today is not a demanding game, so you
right.
can afford to put weather
Right.
details like that.
And I think that was by design because you got to think about it. That game, we just got finished talking about 1080p 60 being the sweet spot on the PS4 Pro. APF ran at 1080p 60 in 2007. You see what I'm saying? So they optimized that game very well. So it's a situation where they did certain things so it would not be as heavy on the 360. Now the PS3 is a little different. It was a little hard to develop for. A lot of people don't know. I think that game is 720p 30 or 1080p 30. I think it's 720p 30 because it's very inferior to the 360 version. But you got to think about it. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of tools you can play with to manipulate performance on a game. Like I know some people. I wish King David was here. He could really explain it because he's on PC as well. You can turn down certain settings on certain games to get like very high frame rate, and the game could look good. But you look at certain textures in the background, it looks like a PS2 game. You know what I'm saying? It's so many things you can manipulate in certain games to make it run good. But like, for instance, Forza 5. When Forza 5 came out, that's a 1080p 60 game. And that game looks great when you look at the cars, you look at certain other things, but you slow down that game and look at some of the buildings that you drive by, look at some of the trees, look at some of the audience that are looking at you drive. I mean, I swear those people had to be in like low resolution. I mean, it's really bad on Forza 5. They put a lot of detail into the cars and some parts of the track to make it run at 1080p 60, but it was not, it's not a full-fledged 100% 1080p experience. Another game, they patched in, they did a pro patch for the Konami game. Hideo Kojima did it, but he got kicked out in the middle of the game.
You talking about Metal Gear?
Metal Gear 5, Phantom Pain.
Yeah.
They did a pro patch for that game to run 1440p 60, but they cut a lot of corners for that game to do it. There's a lot of textures missing in that game. So it's give and take when you see certain games. Like APF is a prime example of that. Like you look at some of those players, it's not a very good looking game. It's just the fact that it looks well because it's a legit 1080p game. Let's see. Ravens Nation said, I was playing Madden 11 earlier. Man, my condolences. Only because I like Chris Johnson. I enjoyed the graphic fidelity in that game. I do now. I don't expect most to agree. No, Madden never had a problem with graphics. Madden 11 gameplay is like the worst. It's horrible. It's like I remember one time what made me stop playing that game. I don't know if I ever told the story. What was the running back that played for the Eagles? He also played for the Saints. Real small guy. Played for the Chargers as well.
Sproles?
Yeah, Darren Sproles ran to the outside, got into a pro tag animation. He broke out of that bitch and ran for a touchdown. I cut the game off and never went back. How the hell his small fry self can break out of a pro tackle? It was beyond me. I cut the game off. I don't even think I got that game up here no more. I was so mad when that happened. So yeah, shout out to Madden 11.
Yeah, there was so many glitchy things with Madden 11. It's ridiculous.
Right. Complimentary Sports said, what's your opinion on Madden 12? I personally love that version. Madden 12 is probably one of the best games that came out on a PS3 football-wise. Madden 12 was really good. It had a legit franchise mode. It had it to where certain players would retire and come. That was one of the games that I know they were actually retiring. Some players would actually come back and want to play again. I don't even know if that's still in Madden anymore. But yeah, that the franchise mode was good. The free agency was great. I personally still like Madden 12. I got a digital copy and I got a real copy of that game. And you may make me want to go play that again. I mean, that game was actually pretty good. Go ahead.
Now, the problem I have with the development team and the executive teams for Madden is what was the thought process in removing all those features from Madden 12 moving forward? because it's like you almost retain none of those features from Madden 12 to do this, because I know they switched from a true franchise mode to what MMO type RPG type experience in their franchise. They literally said this is an RPG experience. I was like, look, I'm not playing Final Fantasy Madden 25. That's not the mode that I'm playing. I'm playing a NFL football game with a franchise mode where I can develop my players based on the time they spend on the field, on whether it's in the game, in practice, whatever coaching I need to do with them, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, when you look at it, it felt like you was in control of a franchise in Madden 12. Like right now, it Madden 21 has its moments where if you're in the front office and you're moving and shaking, doing certain things, it gives you a sense that you're in the front office because, they already give you the visual, you sitting in the front office as a coach or whatever. It kind of gives you that, but it feels hollow when you do certain things. Like, all right.
Wasting resources.
It just feels like it's hollow when you do certain things. Like with Madden 12,
I'm sorry. The sad thing is that it's just a series of cut scenes, and it's just like long shot or whatever face of the franchise is a waste of resources because that's nothing but a series of cut scenes, and
it's frustrating. I agree. Ravens, they say I didn't mind the look of players when their helmets were off. It gave an old school rigid feel based on old school players. Anyway, no, I agree. I'm not saying that it looks bad, but you can tell the shortcuts of what they did to make that game run as well it did. Now, and I'm not saying that it looks bad, but you can look at it and tell, all right, 2K's been going for 3 years, if you think about it, or 4 years out of making football games, and they kind of lowered the resolution on certain things. I don't think it looks bad. I just it's been that way. But I think like not only just with the next gen titles, Izzy is in the chat. Appreciate you coming through. Izzy said the answer to the title, yes, always the first 2 years. And there are a few gems that come out when the next gen title comes out or next gen console comes out. When you look at the original Xbox, you saw when Forza came out. I don't know if that was a release title, but I think it was around the first year. Or when you look at Project Gotham Racing, I mean, that game was great when it first came out. You look at the PS2, the Twisted Metals and the other ones that came out. I mean, those type of games is like, okay, I see what they're getting at. But I think for the last couple of generations, especially with this last generation with the PS3 and not PS3, but the PS4 and Xbox One, there wasn't much to say, okay, this is the next gen experience. I mean, outside of 2K basketball, we felt that. I mean, even when it came to like Battlefield or when it came to like, what was it, Knack, or I'm not even talking about NBA Live. Rise, Son of Rome was another one that probably like, okay, this is the next gen feel, but you just don't get those. So it's like, this is another reason why I say, when you look at next gen, the expectation should be tempered. Like we talked about earlier, about based on what we see with certain performance, certain games, I give that question out there because I want people to really not to be discouraged and say, oh my God, I'm not going to buy a console. I mean, that's stupid. I mean, I want to have a realistic discussion. And I think that's one of the reasons why I like our podcast, because we can have that discussion where once again, we're talking with you and not at you. So we're actually having a discussion, and like people in the comments are really having some really good thoughts, that are here. Ravens Nation also say Madden 12 was the last game that before they took out Superstar mode, which they never improved on for whatever reason. Superstar mode really didn't need improvement. It was good the way it was, but the any addition was welcome. But they took it out, so like, who gives a damn? Right? You know what I mean?
Let me just chime in about just next gen. I feel like, with next gen, along with graphical improvements, I feel like with PS4 with the touch screen button on the controller, I felt like that was, even though there have been stuff in the past that kind of utilizes that centerpiece of the mainly the Dreamcast. Let's just go there. When the Dreamcast came out,
I'm gonna tell you before you say that, Dreamcast is probably the only console that I know that at launch gave you tons of quality products. And I mean, I can say that even when Nintendo came out, they gave you just Mario. Sega came out, they gave you just Sonic. Super Nintendo. But I'm gonna let you keep going. Dreamcast was like a launch title, a launch console. That's the way to do it. But go ahead.
But Dreamcast, their next gen feature was that extra that display that you could hook into and actually use along with playing the game. But then on top of that, you could play the game separately by taking it out, and you're just playing with it. You don't even have the system on. That hasn't been duplicated since. But with the jump from PS3 to PS4, that center portion with that touchscreen, at first they were using the touchscreen. You could see certain avenues. Metal Gear Solid used the touchscreen, but they used it just to like, okay, you can press the corner here and it'll get this menu. You touch the corner here. There were other cases where you could touch it and make certain gestures, and it would interact with certain aspects of the game. I know the games with a bunch of cutscenes. Yep, there it is. What did they call that again?
This is the VMU, Visual Memory Unit.
Yes. So as you can see, it has the two buttons, like it's a mini Game Boy.
Yeah,
but made by Sega.
You can actually play games off of this thing. You can actually play games off of this. 1998, 1999, they did this.
Mm-hmm. See, and I agree with Izzy. The quality of life things like quick load times, quick resume, high frames, auto HDR, those are the things that that next gen, at least with this next gen, because I'm like, PC is always gonna have that it's going to have the upper hand as far as graphics, because as you can see, they release new graphics cards, and
that 3090 and 3080 is just phenomenal. It's like, and the new AMD one's about to be just as good. But I mean, like you were saying, like these are the things to get excited for. I'm not saying like don't tipper and just be like, oh, woe is me. When I'm talking about things like that, I'm talking about like what we think should be advertised as far as the 4K 60. But these type of things right here are the things that you would want to, like what Quaface said earlier. These are the games that's supposed to be hyped about, and I'm 100% behind that.
Izzy, the one thing I don't think folks realize on a PC, you actually do have quick resume. It's called click to the window.
You can easily just put a game down,
and that's actually been in existence since PC began.
You keep the game on like right now. Like you keep the game on and you just minimize the window.
Exactly.
You can minimize the window, go do whatever you want to do, then go right back and maximize
it. Of course, you can shortcut the window for that command to happen. So that's something that you're hiding. You just didn't know that.
He may not have. You can take that game and shortcut that game and just like where you left off. You can shortcut that part where you left off and just like hit that shortcut, and you will be right back where you were. So
multiple games. But the thing is, who's gonna be playing multiple games at the same time to be doing quick resume? Just like BG had
but not only that, you can do that. You can minimize all those games, but I don't want to make this into a PC versus console thing, but I think a lot of people realize like right now, I can have Madden, I can have Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I can have Rogue Company, I can have them all minimized. I can say, hey, y'all, I'll be right back, and just pop up where I left off 2 hours ago on any of those games and just continue to play. I mean, you can do that, but I mean,
like at the end of the day, these consoles are not going to overlap PC.
I mean, no, don't get me wrong,
because it's basically apples and oranges. A closed platform versus an open platform. Right now, other than modding your consoles, you can't upgrade the graphics card unless you're willing to.
I think
void the warranty or whatever, but it's closed for a reason versus the PC platform is open for a reason.
I think the console's gonna have a leap over PC for maybe the next 8 months to a year because of the next gen
certain level PCs.
Yeah, just because of the 2K21 and Madden 21. They're getting the next gen experience. We're left out the cold playing the old versions. So I mean, I think we're gonna be left out of the cold for that. So they're gonna have a leg up on that. And
we can segue to the 2K because I want to reveal what I want to bring.
I'm gonna get into a couple of these comments. Shout out to everybody who's putting out comments. This is what we want, man. He said the problem is due to casuals, they don't prioritize high frame rate. They put yeah, and and that's what I was talking about earlier. Like once you start playing at higher frame rates, you don't want to go back.
Right.
South Philly Sadat says, honestly, what do you expect from Madden 21 next gen? Like, in your opinion, what do you think is going to stick out when you play that game? I don't know if you just came in, but I think a lot of us came up with the expectation saying that we're probably going to get a port, probably an upgraded visual version of a port. I showed some of the pictures of what we've seen so far. I mean, the Pat Mahomes screenshot. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get anything more than that. So I'm really I'm kind of worried about it, to be honest. Ravens, they said, I'm tired of companies advertising 1440p or 4K at only at 30 frames. We should have been away from 30 frames since 2013. Even the 360 and PS3 were capable of 60 frames per second. You go look at Ridge Racer 7, you go at Ridge Racer 6, you go look at Gran Turismo 6, you go look at I think even the old there's a lot of games that are on NCAA 14. There are a lot of games that are on the PS3, Xbox 360 that ran at 60 frames, albeit it may be 720p or in some cases 1080p, but they ran at 60. So I think the frame rate should have always been, it shouldn't even been a priority to advertise. It should just be standard.
Now, I would like to highlight the Dreamcast once again because when they came out, they were 60 frames per second.
480p, 60
whatever resolution, it didn't matter. They were 60 frames per second.
It was 480p, and I'm gonna tell you something. You go back and look at my Dreamcast. You go back and look at my Dreamcast stream that I streamed for 5 hours a few Sundays back. Those games look absolutely gorgeous when I streamed them. They look like stuff that you will see on certain consoles today. They just look that good. Let me see if I can pull that up. But they look that good, and the Dreamcast do not get the love that they normally would get. I mean, but 60 frames should have been the standard. Like you said, the Dreamcast, damn near all their games was like at the 60. I think every game they had, I can't remember. I think the only game that dipped between 60 was what was the racing game? Sega
Crazy.
Rally.
No. Oh, I'm about to say because I know Crazy.
Yeah. Sega Rally 2 was 60 frames at some point, but it dipped because the game was not optimized for the Dreamcast. They was not able to finish production of the game because they want to be released at a certain time. That game is a Windows game that just happened to run on. Well, it was a Windows game first that actually went to the Dreamcast, and he never was able to optimize it for the Dreamcast. So certain areas you have 60 and then they drop down to 30 or whatever. But other than that, all the other games, like you said, DJ, you're on point. 60 frames easily. Let me see. Where is it? Come on, here we go. I'm gonna see if I can pull up just something on here. Let's see. Not that, because we played this earlier. What I'm about to say, let's look at this. Ravens, they said, like, if one person playing Siege at 4K 30 and the other one is 1080p 60, the second guy has an advantage. Absolutely. You're not lying. It's like those frames mean a lot when you come around that corner trying to shoot somebody. They can see you before you see them. You're done. You're done. That's why I have this monitor here is a 75 frames. It gets me through when I'm playing first-person shooters. I handle my own, but I know some of these dudes are running at 144, and I can tell easily when I get shot or killed. Like I can tell. Ravens, they say APF 360 with 60 frames. Absolutely. Don't worry about it. You late to the party. Long as you're here, that's all that matters. Complimentary Sports says the Dreamcast was amazing. I don't need to say anything else behind that. Absolutely. Right. Let me see. I gotta get a good screenshot. Let's see. Let me see if I can pull one up. Let's see. Full screen that. Let me see if I can pull this up.
Damn, she don't look happy at all.
All right, this is my stream from earlier when I did the Dreamcast. I mean, you can just look at it. This does not look like a bad game. You look at it. This looks like something that would be. Oh my bad. That'll look. I mean, the bodies don't look the best, but the fidelity of it looks really good for a system that came out in 2000. In '99. I mean, this looks good, and this is running at 60 frames on when I was streaming this. I mean, this looks like some shit on a PS3. Now I give them credit because I mean they did a really good job with it. Enough of that. Let's see.
So I was playing like I was hiding behind a preliminary sports Abby when he had that. I was sitting there like,
What you were saying something about some innovative stuff that was talking about when you said the VMU. What else you was talking about?
No, I think that was mainly it. Oh yeah, yo, I think with the VMU because I was highlighting the fact that it had a control pad and it had the buttons like a little mini Game Boy, so you could actually play the game separate from the actual system.
You know what? Another one you can do that with? This right here.
Yeah, that's true, but you're talking about it. But you're talking about it was. I would say for how small that VMU was,
I got
and
you.
being able to, yeah.
Because I'm gonna tell you right now, this right here, people shit on the Wii U, but this thing has a very good library. And I know everybody say, "Oh, the Switch is this." Fuck the Switch. That's a handheld that's parading as a console. This is a real console. See, I can literally put this down, and I can sit and play my games like I'm supposed to. See that? I can play like I'm supposed to. So I will Wii U over Switch any day. And I know people going to come around me and say, "Oh my God, I can't believe you said it." I don't give a damn. I don't play with handhelds. I just don't. But Bills is not here for the picks. I can't even remember what we picked. Who cares? We'll get back to it. We can talk about.
Well, the thing is, we went over our picks on Tuesday. There's no games tonight. There's 2 Monday night games, but
right.
But yeah,
we can do our picks. I mean, Bills out in the cold again. Let's see. If y'all haven't already, man, y'all go check out the Teespring link. I mean, it's some great stuff over there. I'm gonna put that up while I pull this up as well.
Now, before we go on to the picks, I just want to squeeze this in because I wanted to say something about like 2K and I'm not going into detail about the blogs that come out. I can tell you on the surface, it's nice. I like what I'm hearing. I like what I'm reading. I like what I'm seeing. Buy the merch.
Go ahead and speak on it a little bit because I forgot that came out.
Yeah. Well, like I said, on the surface, the blogs, they talked about the player motion, they talked about the impact engine, they talked about they're trying to minimize sliding, and they talked about like controller features, like you could depend on the tension of the right analog when you go to shoot, whether you get a high arcing shot or a low arcing shot, which is something new. I'm like, we haven't had a control feature of that magnitude in any of the games in any generation. So I commend them with that. As far as I think they're going to start the third part of their blog. They're going to talk about the AI improvements that should be next week. But as far as what they've have out so far, I'm impressed, but I'm also disappointed at the same time because I downloaded Live 19 just yesterday because I wanted to see if the feeling that I have was the fact that they could have made all these improvements on current gen. I believe they could have made all these improvements to player motion, to whatever, they could have made like the way that eliminating 2-man sequences, making it more like a physics based interaction, even though you can kind of still see this 2-man sequences and stuff like that, just smoothing those sequences out. I feel like they could have made those improvements in current gen. And I blame EA and Live for quitting on folks, because when you play Live, what you see in those clips for next gen 2K is pretty much exactly what you see in current Live 19. 19 has, like, they haven't made a game of Live in what years? Like 19 was the last release.
Yeah, and that came out in 2018.
But you can go in, obviously you can go in there. I've always given Live props as far as their physical interactions, the way their the pacing on offense and defense, their player movement, their interactions. They already figured that out on current gen. And I believe because Live stopped and delayed and canceled their last 2 games, 2K, knowing that the next gen is coming up, was like, oh, we don't have to really worry about making these huge improvements, because one, Live is just they're sitting out, they're sitting on the sideline. We got this new, and we can excuse the fact that, okay, well, we can excuse the fact that, oh, we couldn't really make these improvements until next gen because we got new technology, we can do all this and stuff like that. And I feel like, okay, outside of the stuff that you can do now with the controllers, like the higher, actually, to tell you the truth, I feel like the functionality of the high arc, low arc shot could have been in current gen too. So it just, and I hate the business aspect of these improvements. I love the improvements. It's going to provide, I feel like it's going to provide a better experience for 2K users, but it's going to make those people that said, hey, they took this from Live, they're going to scream a lot more when they get a hold of this game on next gen and be like, wait a minute, I could already do that on Live. That's, well, and I hate to be that guy, but it's just, you know, I love the improvements from a developer perspective, but I hate the business practice of when those improvements came out and what generating. I would say the purpose for them being there is to separate the current gen from the next gen, and also to back up the price point, which at the same time, I've expressed an issue with the price point. And even though I kind of backed off of it a little bit, this kind of reiterates the fact that now I definitely have a problem with the price point, because if you're leaning on these improvements to justify the price point of, was it $70?
Yeah, 70.
So when Live 19 already has pretty much most of this stuff in their last game they made, which was in 2018, 2 years ago, then that $70 is crap.
Well, this is why I told you, I mean, a lot of people don't even talk about it, but I'm really looking forward to Live 22. Don't get me wrong, I don't have nothing against NBA 2K21. I think it's gonna be a good basketball game. But when you're looking at a game from the ground up, and they already had what they had, and you got minds like Scott OG, and you got minds like what's his name, the other guy, Rob Jones. You got guys like that going in there doing something from the ground up. I'm very interested to see what they're going to put out there. So I can't wait. I'm still on the fence. I still want to get my Xbox Series X. I want to get that. The PS5, I want to wait till Gran Turismo 7 come out. I'm gonna get that in a bundle, because man, the best thing Xbox could have done. Oh my God, I finally got to play Forza 7 on PC. I ain't got nothing else to say. Yo, that game, the PC version of that game. Oh my God.
Damn, you almost took out your mic.
Man, bro, it's that good, and I'm not joking. You know me, I'm a motorsport guy. I like to play simulation racing, but that felt like a next gen experience, and that game is a current gen one. But I digress. I'll get to that. I might have to make a video on that in general because I play Project Cars. I play a set of Corsa. I played a little bit of iRacing. I play Gran Turismo, but they put that game on PC. Microsoft did a damn good job of optimizing that game. Beautiful 4K 60 game. Beautiful controls. I mean, I'll get into that another time. Let's get into these picks, man. Let's talk about some football real quick.
Gotcha.
All right, we got this up. Shout out to everybody who's here. Appreciate you guys. If you guys want to check out the frame rate gear, that's great. Also, you can check out the Discord if you haven't already. Izzy, I know you're part of the Discord. You've been absent for a while. Kind of worried about that. Ravens Nation, I know you're busy. You have a legit excuse. Sadat, you're busy. I understand you got a legit excuse. But Izzy be on that Twitter more than he's on that Discord. I'm kind of mad about that.
To tell you the truth, I know why Izzy's absent from my Discord. We ain't console warring.
Oh man, here we go.
We ain't talking bad about Sony, and we ain't upping Microsoft. But he's been kind of balanced in the last few days, so I'll give him credit.
The reason why I say that the Discord is actually popping right now. I mean, we got some people constantly commenting. We got some discussions going on. It's a good thing. Shout out to G-Rob. He's not here tonight. I know he's probably has something else to do, but he's constantly there. Who else? Nemesis Prime has been showing up. Quaface is always there. Like I said, man, you guys are the best. You guys keep us rolling, and we can't do it without y'all. We really appreciate it. Also, always like, share, whatever.
Question.
Go ahead.
Who's Sofa King 80? It's his 40th birthday, so happy birthday.
Oh, that's G-Rob. That's why he's not here.
Yeah, that's his. But it's funny because didn't he say he was going to be down at the harbor around here? So
okay.
Happy birthday, G-Rob. Happy 40th. Welcome to the 40-year-old club. So welcome. But happy birthday. Hope you're enjoying yourself. I see the stogie. I'm looking on the Discord now, and I see the stogie. So he's actually. No,
I'm looking for something. Hold on, I'll be right back. Oh no, gotcha. I got it right here. I was looking at my phone. Tripping. I gotta tell him happy birthday. I didn't know it was his birthday. That's why he's not here. But he's been a big supporter lately, really big. But happy birthday to G-Rob. Next time he comes through, I'm have to shout him out on something. Preliminary Sport asked me, First and Framerates try to affiliate market with Maximum Football. Hey, we're here. They know what time it is. I mean, I got the t-shirt and everything. I'm out here putting the content out. I mean, we're here whenever they're ready. I mean, we're always willing and ready. I might have to shoot them a message because that would not be a bad idea. Because I like to see companies on the come up trying to do something, and their product is not the best, but it's not bad either. I mean, they're on the right track. I'll just put it that way.
Right.
All right, let's look at these games. We got New England and wait a minute. This week 6. Yeah, this is.
Yeah, it's week 6. I'm right there.
Did New England and Denver just play each other?
No, that game was canceled from last week.
Oh, that's what it was. I was about to say that's what I thought I was on the wrong thing. Okay, so Denver, New England are playing. I think is Cam coming back?
We don't really. As of right now, we don't know. I'm like, does anybody in the chat? Do you guys know?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about Cam being back. I'm gonna look and see.
Because it's you would think it's past that 2-week time. So
right. Let me see. Denver.
Yeah, you got some other people. There are more NFL players that are getting sick, and it's not even COVID related. So we are actually on the cusp of another flu season, if we weren't already there. So
yeah, they got to be careful about that. I know.
Yeah, because Washington fans, they were getting on Haskins about his stomach. He's had like a stomach virus, and they were getting on him, and it was just like, well, I don't know why they're getting on him, especially now all these other players are coming up sick.
TD said that they're practicing. He's been practicing, so he's probably going to be playing. I'm giving New England the edge regardless. I just don't think Denver just has it in them yet. Mont Rippin nephew is playing.
Right.
But I just think he's just gonna have a ways to go to become be on a winning level. But he has the tools. I think he's gonna be pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah,
He did not play bad.
Yeah, I'm definitely going with the Patriots on that one. Like I actually highlighted Brett in the last time we talked about it. I talked about how he kind of like went through, like he started off good and then he had that terrible stretch. And he even brought it out. He was like, look, I know I was bad doing a couple of stretches. I threw a couple of picks here and there. And it was just like, but he, because they did, let's see, they won that game. Or they won that game.
They won the game, but I mean,
but it was just like he struggled in the middle of it. So he'll probably struggle again, especially against this defense. So
yeah, but I mean, you gotta think about it. I mean, wasn't he like basically thrown to the fire? You know, I mean, I don't think he was like prepared to start or something like that when he played that game, right?
No, he was slated as a starter.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, he was, because what's the name of whoever, I forgot. You guys have been on this quarterback. He was the original starter. He got hurt.
Drew Lock
got hurt. So Rippon knew he was going to be starting. So
I mean, he didn't play bad overall. I was just wondering about.
Oh no, I was just saying. That's why I broke it down to where he started off nice, and then he had that stretch where he admitted that he played poorly, but he pulled it out at the end. So it's just like, we won. Everything's good. But not this week.
Quaface just said they just shipped this order for his Teespring gear, his frame rate gear. So we can't wait to see you show that off once you get it. Shout out to Tadal52. He's a truck driver, so he drives throughout the night, but he did put his picture out on Discord showing us what he had.
Gotcha.
He got the nice blue the blue hoodie of the Less Complaining More Gaming merch. So we can't wait for you to show that off. That'd be great. So I'm still waiting for ours as well. So I don't know what's going on. Houston versus Denver. I'm taking not Houston versus Denver. Houston versus Tennessee. I'm taking Tennessee on this one.
Yeah, I'm taking Tennessee because man, did Josh Norman get stiff-armed into oblivion. That was crazy.
Hey, he low key got that that game day stiff arm.
Josh Norman has just had a terrible time in Tennessee. Last time he was in Tennessee, the formerly known as the Redskins were there, and he got burnt on one of the final plays of that game, and then he got into it with Tyler Lewan, and
he don't want no problems with that guy.
So in that game, Norman got burnt in that. It was actually on the same drive. He got stiff armed into oblivion, and then he got burnt like toast. So
he caught 3 L's that night. He caught the stiff arm L, getting burnt L, and they lost the game. And he got a triple L. Dang.
So
I think Tennessee easily. I'm taking Tennessee easily. The Houston they still don't have they don't have it all together. So I'm taking the Titans. This is going to be a really good game right here. Pittsburgh versus Cleveland. This was going to be a lot better than we think it is.
Well, then we thought it was. It definitely, just on paper, it is better than what originally we thought it was going to be. So.
Yeah, because Cleveland's starting to play some pretty good ball. Pittsburgh's been playing pretty good all year. If I'm not mistaken,
see, Cleveland has no Nick Chubb, so
that's what I want. That's what I want to say. I want to see the records. Browns are 4-1. Steelers are 4-0. Browns don't have Nick Chubb, but they do have another running back. They got Kareem Hunt and somebody else, I think. I can't remember. But nevertheless, I think Nick Chubb is a big loss at the end of the day. Kareem Hunt is okay, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I'll take the Steelers in this probably by 7 or 10 points, maybe 14.
I'm going to gamble a little bit. I'm going to go with the Browns on this one.
That will be huge for their franchise. I'm going to tell you why. Because now they will be they could possibly take control of the division. Yeah, I know the Ravens are there, but at 5-1, if they're tied with the Ravens, all bets are off because nobody can say that one team's going to beat another team twice in a division. I mean, all these teams can easily go 1-1 against each other.
Right.
Especially the way the Ravens been playing. The Ravens is not the team that we thought they were going to be.
And guess who they play this week?
Yeah, they play the Eagles. I'm taking the Ravens. I'm going to take the Ravens in this one.
Yeah, I'm definitely picking the Ravens on this one.
I would not be surprised. Oh, hold on, real quick.
Mhm.
Complimentary Sports and Quaface picked the Titans, and Quaface picked Pittsburgh as well.
Wait a minute, are you recording our picks or?
Yeah. I'm writing them down.
Okay.
But Quaface also says the Ravens. I can see the Ravens take this one. I would not be surprised if the Eagles sneak one, because even though the Eagles have their problems, the Eagles have been playing pretty tough football throughout the last few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
This could be one that they can sneak and win, quote unquote possible legitimate trap game for the Ravens. But I'm taking the Ravens though.
Yeah, so Ravens for me too. So
yeah. Football team versus the Giants. Oh boy, this is a bottom feeder game. The next two games are bottom feeder games.
God damn. Just scraping from the bottom of the barrel for these next two games.
Right.
I'm sticking with the rules. I'm going with Washington. I think this is very much a winnable game, but they have to get their quarterback situation straight. They just have to get it straight.
Yeah.
Well, more importantly, they have to get the offensive line issues taken care of. And it looks like they're going to have Sadiq Charles at left guard. So they may have the rookie in there in place of Wes Martin or Wes Marin, wherever his name is. Hopefully he got benched because he was horrible last week.
I'm taking the I'm taking the Redskins. I have no faith in the Giants. I just don't have any faith in them. So I think that the Giants will lose another one. So I'm taking Washington. I think Washington will get it together just enough to beat them. Complimentary Sports took the Giants. Quaface takes Washington. Okay. Well, Quaface he's a Washington fan, so
he picked against Washington one for a bunch of weeks. So I don't think he did it this year, but last year he was doing.
Well, I'm picking against my team right now. The Falcons play the Vikings. We got a new coach. We got rid of the coach. We got rid of the GM. We got rid of the special teams coach. You got Raheem Morris as the coach now. Dirk Cutter
who has been a head coach before, so it's not like he's not done it before.
Yeah. TD asks who's worse than the Giants or the Jets. Hey,
Jets are worse.
I'm taking the Jets over the Giants. I think they're worse, but you can't win with either one. I just put it that way. Yeah. The Falcons, I think they're going to lose against the Vikings. No, I take that back. New coach, new attitude. I think they win this one against the Vikings. I'm picking the Falcons on this one because I lost train of thought thinking that the head coach was still there. No, I'm going to take the Falcons on this one, and I think they will win the first game against the Vikings.
I believe the same because what do we say about the Vikings and Kirk Cousins?
I already know. You go ahead and tell them.
Stop preaching hate. Or at least tell your father stop preaching hate and stop hanging out with Trump on the golf course too. So yeah, so Falcons are gonna win this one. I think they're gonna blow out the Vikings.
Oh wow! You think they're gonna blow them out? I think the Falcons just get they get a W. I don't know if they're gonna blow them out.
I think the hot seat for Kirk Cousins is gonna get hotter because I think he's gonna throw like 2 picks in this game.
Yeah, I just think this is going to be a turnaround game for the Falcons. I don't think it's going to turn around the season, but I think they're going to turn things around to get a W. They got 5-11 written all over them, but I think they'll get a W this week.
Right.
Let's see. Lions and Jaguars. Well, but hold on. These next 3 games are like horrible. Like,
oh god,
like 1-4 versus 0-5, 0-5 versus 1-4, 1-3 versus 1-4. Like, are these games gonna be televised? Like,
Noodle Arm is still quarterbacking, even though they asked about a possible switch. So
right.
All right, so
we got Lions and Jaguars.
I'm automatically picking the Lions because Jaguars on the other side. Jay Gruden's another person I will not pick ever again. I think I probably picked them one time, and that was because it was a coin toss, and they lost. So
I want to pick Jacksonville. I really do. There's something about them saying that they're not going to win. I'm taking the Lions on this one.
Only thing Oh, I'm sorry. Only thing about this is that Adrian Peterson may miss this game because he fell ill this week,
Right,
and
right,
he's
right,
their featured back.
right, right.
So
It's just something about it's something about the Jaguar. I feel like the Lions are going to beat them, and I want to pick the Jaguars because I mean the team is not bad. They just can't win. But the Lions, it looks like the Lions just going to beat them, and they're just going to be more demoralized. You know, I think that's just what it is. Quaface says Jags. Subliminary Sports says LOL. All right. Bengals and Colts.
Oh wow, noodle arm versus the rookie, the beaten up rookie.
Hold on, real quick before we go. TD says Lions, Jacksonville secondary is decimated right now. They are playing guys out of the stands versus Houston. That's funny. Man. Yeah, I'm taking the Lions as well. I just don't think the Jaguars got it, man. It's just something about them. Bengals and Colts. This is going to be interesting because you just don't know which quarterback is going to show up when it comes to the Phillip Rivers. If Phillip Rivers play fairly decent, I think the Colts are going to beat them. Their defense is actually pretty good. The Bengals, to me, is like Joe Burrow or bust, and I don't think that's going to be enough for them to beat the Colts. Not with that defense. I'll take the Colts. I'll take the Colts in a 7-point game.
I'm taking the Bengals. Only for the simple fact that, you know, Noodle Arm, when he threw that pick six, it took forever to get there. It did. I was just like, are you kidding me? It took like 5 seconds for that ball to get
like what we called it? A breaking ball?
He threw a changeup. That's what I said. It was a changeup.
He threw a changeup.
He threw a changeup and it still got picked. And it got picked off. Matter of fact, because it was a changeup, it got picked off. If he had put some oomph behind, or at least something that he had left, take some Viagra, maybe add more velocity to his arm. So
take Viagra.
Hey, they say take it for a left arm.
No, that joke could go so many ways, and that won't be the only thing strong arm if you take that. Oh, Quaface says Bengals because Tyler Boyd, the hometown kid. Complimentary Sports says Bengals as well. I'm taking the Colts. I want to say Bengals, but the Colts defense are pretty good, and I think that's going to carry them over. But
if Phillip Rivers doesn't make it through the game and Jacoby Brissett gets in there, then
it's all bets off then.
Yeah,
all bets are off. I'll pick the Colts single-handedly then, but I'm picking Colts based on defense. But if Brissett was playing, I'll say a Colts in a runaway win. Bears and Panthers. I'm taking Bears off the rip. I think the Bears are very good. They're a pretty good football team this year. They really need a running game. If they get a running game, they're going to get the Packers a run for their money. I think the Panthers have no answer for the whole team of the Bears.
I'm starting to wonder about Foles at quarterback. It seems like when he's expected to start, he struggles. So I'm going with the Panthers because right now the Panthers are doing some things right now, and I want to hop along the bandwagon for another week. The wheels are about to fall off, but yeah, I'm gonna go Panthers.
I mean, that's not a bad pick because the Panthers are actually playing pretty good. Like everybody says, like right here, Quaface says Panthers, TD says Panthers in a close game. Teddy is playing well. I give them props for that. I mean, I can see the Panthers winning this. The Bears are like playing on. I'll put up the Bears are playing better football than what the Panthers are playing right now. And the Panthers aren't playing bad football. That just goes to show you how well I think the Bears are playing. And I think that if they get a running game, because the running game on the Bears is not that bad, but if they get a legit running game against the Panthers, they'll have the game plan to blow the Panthers out in this game. And I'm not saying that in a joking manner. The Bears have a well-rounded offense and defense outside of the running game. If they get the running game going, the Panthers going to be in for a long day. Outside of that, Panthers do have a chance, but I take the Bears winning them in a close one.
And then plus socially, Black Panthers all day.
All right, Dolphins and Jets.
Fish.
Yeah,
Easily.
the Dolphins blew out the 49ers, which I don't know what I was thinking because I forgot they had a
But
quarterback.
I knew what I was thinking.
But the Jets have no answer for anything. They just got rid of Le'Veon Bell. They have nothing. Sam Darnold's going to be fighting for his life throughout this entire game. Dolphins are going to win this game probably by 2 or 3 touchdowns. Yo, TD said Dolphins by 40 plus.
40 plus.
Bro, what are we doing? That's crazy.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see the Dolphins winning, but not by 40. Quaface also said the Dolphins. I like the little dolphin emoji. That's pretty dope. That's pretty cool. So that's an easy one. Let me put this up. I'm gonna let you do the next one while I type the Miami game.
All right, so the next game we have the Green Bay Packers versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, this is a historic matchup because you got 2 old guys playing quarterback that have a stronger arm than noodle arms over in Indianapolis. But this game's going to be in Tampa. Aaron Rodgers has quite the record, I believe, in Tampa. Aaron Rodgers has been on fire just this whole season.
Yes.
But I think because this game's in Tampa and there's going to be a crowd, Green Bay is going to be gun shy because they all of a sudden they're in Florida. Florida is a hotbed for COVID right now, along with Atlanta. But
hey, for the record, let's slow down right there. For the record, one person in Atlanta had COVID, and it's a personnel person. None of the players. It's only one. They're taking super precautions. It's only one person got it.
Atlanta's a hotbed for something else.
Yes, they are. So let's keep it on the sports. Let's keep it on the sports.
So that being said, I'm gonna pick Tampa in this game. I think Green Bay is due for a downfall. Players fuck up at once, so I'll give Aaron Rodgers. Him appearing on Pat McAfee's show, I think he's going to have humble pie, showing up on the show on Tuesday. Because this man's been flexing, doing whatever, just showing off. He's been doing what Tom Brady was doing with those little videos, except he's appearing on a podcast every Tuesday. So I'm going with Tampa on this one.
I'm picking Packers, but I'm picking Packers because I know they've been playing very well. Mm-hmm. The Buccaneers have probably the best team right now in the NFL that can beat the Packers right now, just because of what their personnel like. You could obviously say like Seattle or whatever the case may be. Obviously, they have the best chance. In some cases, maybe even I think they played the Bears already. But I wouldn't even put the Chiefs up against them right now. The Chiefs are somewhat suspect. They're 4-1 suspect team to where they're winning games. The Buccaneers have like the personnel and the defense to stymie the Packers. And I would not be surprised if the Buccaneers win, but I'm taking the Packers because they are red hot. But if they do lose, I can see the Packers going 14-2. I can see them going 13-3. And this is one of the games that will be in the loss column. But I'm taking the Packers just because they are on fire right now.
Gotcha.
Well, let me see. I'm about to put that in the comment section. What am I doing? I'm about to put Green Bay in the comment section. That sure was.
That's funny.
Let's see. Next one. Rams and 49ers. Let me tell you something. This game right here might be pretty entertaining. This game might be. This is a Sunday night game. This game may sneak up on people to be. Okay, I'm glad I stayed up to watch this type game. This game might be better than advertised.
Man, the Rams are gonna blow the 49ers out the water.
I see where you're getting at, but I would not be surprised that this game would be a high-flying, high-scoring game.
Yeah, for the Rams.
So obviously you're taking the Rams.
Yes, I'm taking the Rams, which is secretly also my second team. I know I said Tennessee last week. The Rams. I also have a Rams jersey in the closet, like buried. So
I mean, to be honest, if you're a football fan, and like you and I, we grew up in the 80s.
It's a Marshall Faulk jersey, by the way.
I mean, not only, I get it. I mean, I have a Marshall Faulk jersey too. But like, if you grew up in the 80s and you watch football, how could you like I don't see anybody like rooting for the Rams, but that's the type of team. Like, how could you dislike the team? I mean, from back then, when you watch the Rams, if you watch the Rams in the 80s and 90s, they may not be really good, but when you watch them, it was like, okay, that's who they are. I can't dislike them. I don't mind watching them.
Well, I'm sorry, but their only claim to fame was when Jim Everett got into a fight on ESPN2 with Jim Rome because he called Chris Everett the tennis player. That was hilarious.
I do remember that.
I bet you won't do it again. All right, Chris.
I mean, it's one of those franchises that they never done anything out of the way to be like, oh, I can't stand them. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those franchises. So it's like when I look at the Rams, even when I was growing up, it was like, okay, the Rams are on. It's interesting to watch them. I mean, like you could tell, like, okay, I didn't like the Packers because Brett Favre was an ass. Okay, I didn't like the Buccaneers because when they won the Super Bowl, they really didn't have a quarterback. Or like there are certain reasons why you may like, okay, this team is full of frauds. Do I need to say anything about the Cowboys? It's like, I mean, there are certain teams where you look at them and be like, yeah, but the Rams never had like that type of player. I mean, we all like Isaac Bruce when he was like the only person there balling. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I mean, even when you saw Eric Dickerson there, you know, they always had somebody there be like, you know what? They're the Rams and they're okay.
Well, remember they had Jerome Bettis at one point. They had him
exactly
in the first few years in the league.
Yeah, exactly. Jerome Bettis. I mean, they always had like this ho-hum, feel good, they're okay type of a vibe about them. All these other franchises, you got some dirt on them. Like, why the fuck I want to say anything good about them? Like the Rams never was like that type of team, in my opinion. But we're both picking the Rams. I'm picking the Rams.
Yes, yeah, Rams easily.
Yeah. Chiefs and Bills.
This is not going to be fair for the Bills. Because Le'Veon Bell is now there. I don't know if he's going to be eligible to play in this game. If he's eligible to play in this game, then
Le'Veon Bell got signed by the Chiefs, right?
I believe so.
Let me look that up because I remember he was talking about it.
Yeah, he was talking about it, and then on NFL Network it said he intends to sign with the Chiefs. So if it's not if it hasn't happened by now, then I don't see
it happened right. It happened right after the podcast started. Right before the podcast, so he signed a 1-year deal with the Chiefs. This is my thing about that. When are they going to use him?
You mean when are they going to use him? Like as far as him being eligible after he signs, or just like
just personnel. Like I mean, you got Hilaire there. You got what's the other running back that's there?
He will supersede anything. He will supersede pretty much anybody after that first running back you mentioned.
Yeah, Hilaire?
Yeah.
Because they only got I was about to say Jamal Charles. Not him. What's the other running back?
I don't know.
Melvin Gordon? Do they got Melvin Gordon?
No. The what is it?
The Raiders, not the Raiders, but the Ravens. I mean, the Denver Broncos got Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, the Broncos got Melvin Gordon.
They got somebody else behind him as well.
But the thing is, Bell is pretty much going to be the guy back there. So then he's not going to start. I wouldn't put him there right away. You kind of go with the momentum with the current back that you have, but you work Bell into that system. I'm like, he has to get used to that system. So, but the fact that he can also catch out the backfield.
I think it's a perfect fit. But I was just wondering because I mean they already got running backs like that. Maybe they just put them in and out or whatever the case can be. I'm not really sure. But I don't believe
him coming off a jet sweep. Jeez.
Yeah, something like that. Now I don't believe in thunder and lightning. I don't.
It's not going to be a thunder lightning situation.
Yeah, because I kind of got away from seeing Le'Veon Bell as that type of running back. When Bill said he could go to Seattle, I was like, yeah, but he doesn't fit what their running backs like. They're like bruising running backs over there. He's not that guy. I mean, I guess he can be, but he's not that guy. But
and then
I'm not sold to say just because he's there that the Chiefs are going to beat the Bill. They're going to beat the Bills. I don't. The Bills are a formidable team.
Yeah, but Rosen fell to earth last game. He kind of had one of those.
Yeah, he wet the bed because that was their first loss. That was their first loss.
But the thing is, it's like with Rosen, I could see one of those games popping up where he would regress. He would falter back to that you don't know what he doesn't know what he's doing type. But it's the further he goes along, the rarer that will be.
But you got to think about this as well. The Chiefs haven't been playing good defense all year. To be honest with you, the Chiefs haven't been the Chiefs all year. Even though they're 4-1, they haven't really been dominant as they were last year. You know, I mean, they just lost to the Raiders, which a lot of people sleeping on that team. That team is dangerously good as well. They almost lost to the Chargers. They had to beat them in overtime, and it was another close game they had that they almost lost. So this is not a team that they're like world beaters. You know, it's like this could be. What's that?
He's saying that Bell is 225. His weight doesn't matter. It's the way he's been used throughout his years. He has been used as a type of running back. Right. He's a finesse guy.
Yeah, he's never been that guy. I mean, I ain't gonna say never, but he's gotten to the league and been a tippy toe, find a hole type running back. He's not trying to run nobody over. I mean, I'm pretty sure he can, but he just haven't been that guy. That's why, like you say, him going up there to Seattle, he may not want to run the ball like they want to run the ball. You look at Harry Carson. You look at when Mike Davis was there. You look at Marshawn Lynch. They're trying to run over two people every time they run the ball.
Correction, I'm being corrected, and I realized my mistake. It's Josh Allen, not Rosen.
Yeah, it's Josh Allen.
I'll take the L for that one. Self L.
It's all good. It's all good. You good. You good. Where am I? Where's my notepad? There we go. All right, but yeah,
unless you got it on the
computer. I had to click for the comment. When I clicked the comment, it went down.
See, that's what TD says. He's an elusive receiving back, and that's what we've been saying all along. I don't know
right. He does.
Didn't see that.
Does it? He's not a fit in he's not a fit in Seattle because I know when Bills are saying it, like, yeah, he can go to Seattle. Yeah, he could, but it does not fit what they're trying to do. Like, how many running backs out of Seattle are actually catching the ball out the backfield?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They're trying to run the ball straight at you every single time. But you are picking the Chiefs, right?
Yes, I am picking the Chiefs.
I'm picking Buffalo in an upset. I'm not saying that they will. It's like, don't think that the Bills are just going to lay down. And also, the Chiefs have been struggling to get certain teams this year. I mean, Josh Herbert almost beat them. You know what I mean?
One for that lousy field goal kicker.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So, like, the Chiefs are playing pretty good. Mm-hmm. But the Bills do have a formidable team. They're the type of team that you don't want to start slow with, like the like Quaface is saying, they start slow. Like didn't the Bills was the one that came back from the almost did the 28-3 thing or something like that?
Yeah,
I mean they got it in them. All right. So let's see. Cardinals and Cowboys. Where are you at, ZayMack? You guys won last week. You may win this one. Because you're playing against the Cowboys.
Yeah, this is the Cardinals going away.
You taking Cardinals?
Yeah, I'm picking Cardinals on this one.
Didn't Dallas still win that game after old boy got hurt?
Yeah, but that's momentary adrenaline there. I think they lost it as far as that is concerned. They're not gonna be like, oh, we're gonna dedicate the season to Dak. And then all of a sudden they're gonna play out their ass. I think they had it for that little bit, and plus they were playing the Giants, so you gotta think about that.
What's up, Engraven Viz? Appreciate you coming through, my guy. Thank you for coming through and showing us support. Really appreciate it.
So definitely the Cardinals over the Cowboys, and plus fuck the Cowboys. Wish you well, Dak, but fuck the Cowboys.
Pooh Zay was here earlier. He was here earlier. You missed him. He was here earlier. I'm picking Arizona as well. I mean, I think you're gonna start seeing the process of getting Dak out of Dallas. They're gonna find any excuse, even mediocre quarterback play is gonna be a reason not to sign Dak. They're gonna if let's say for instance, if what's the boy name 14 play for the Bengals? Andy Dalton. If Andy Dalton turns around and give you for the season, 17 touchdowns and 15 interceptions, that's going to be enough for them not to sign Dak. They're not going to sign him. I mean, the only way they sign Dak back is like their quarterbacks have to be super duper trash, and they don't have a top pick. Other than that, Dak is gone. Dak might as well go ahead and start getting his agent talking to some free agents or whatever. I mean, talking to some teams.
See, and that's the unfortunate aspect about the NFL. It doesn't matter how, like, especially like I said with Dallas, it's that plantation mentality. They had him almost. They had him 1 foot out the door. It's like, look, if you don't perform, if you and not really saying it, but it's like if you're not even healthy, then we're not going to sign you. And it's unfortunate that he gets hurt with only a 1-year contract with that franchise tender. And yeah, and Dalton was sitting right there the whole entire time as a leverage piece. And yeah, I feel for Dak, but he's a grown ass man. His agent's a grown ass man. They signed that tender. They didn't have to. They could have held out for a long-term deal.
Oh, wow.
But other than that, fuck the Cowboys in that plantation Jerryland. Yes,
where you been? No, I'm saying where he's been. I haven't seen him here in weeks. Appreciate you coming through, my guy. They can franchise him for another year, but I think they're going to use this as an excuse not to give that man $40 million. You got to understand. You got to
trying to get a long-term contract, and I think if his performance leading up to the point he got hurt was exemplary, then you got to reward him some way.
But this is what I'm saying. Is a two-pitch sword. You got to understand. If they franchise him, they just gave him $31 million, so it's going to be probably up to $40 million, probably more, if they have to franchise him again for 1 year, and that may not happen because that's a lot of money. Or two, give him a long-term deal, which they already don't want to do already. So I see him. He's going to be out of there. And with that being said, Quaface said he'll take Dak for Washington. He said he will do that. He said, I'll take Dak for Washington.
I don't know.
Who asked, question for all, where the hell is Dak going? The Bears, I guess. I can see him going to the Bears. I can see him going there. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Y'all might not want to hear this. It's a possibility that he may even go to the Falcons because they're already having talks of getting rid of Matt Ryan.
I heard about the talk there. That's kind of crazy.
I agree. I think it's insane, but there's already talks of, since Dan Quinn is gone, the GM is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're talking about blowing up the entire team. So if they do that, I can see them probably going 3-13 and probably try to get Trevor Lawrence. Now, another thing about that is a lot of people don't know Trevor Lawrence is a Georgia native. So that would not be far-fetched. And two, as far as the Dak Prescott thing, they may not want to get a rookie quarterback. Dak is a fairly formidable quarterback, and to get him, it just depends on what kind of contract he wants. It may be viable for the next GM to come in and do it. Do I agree with it? Hell no, I don't agree with it, but there's already been talks about it, which I don't understand. It's ridiculous. I don't know. What y'all think in the chat? A lot of people are like saying no. Spectacular Pool saying what?
I'm like, you gotta think about it. Matt Ryan is getting up there. I'm like, he's still performing at a top level.
He's performing at a high level.
At a high level, but I'm like, if they're talking about blowing up the team, then you got to start with possibly looking towards a new quarterback.
Yeah, but this is another thing though. It's like a lot of people are talking about Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is like rarely, if any, the reason why the Falcons lose the way they lose. If you want to get on him about the interception last week against the Panthers, that's fine. I get that because that was a bad throw. But if you look at 28-3, you look at these last few times when they blown leads earlier this season, those are not Matt Ryan's fault. Even last year when the defense was like they lost 4 people on defense, dude was still putting up numbers like 350, 375 a game. It's like, I don't get it, but that's what they're talking about. That's exactly what they're talking about. So it's crazy. I mean, I understand it because the new GM that comes in, the new coach comes in, that's not their guy. And I can see them doing it, but I don't recommend it. Now No, I agree with you, Complimentary Sports. I don't think they're signing Dak either, but I'm just saying we don't know who's going to come in to replace Dan Quinn and Dimitrov. You don't know that. If somebody comes in to replace and they like what they see, I mean, who's to say? No, Matt Ryan's not bad at all. I agree. I totally agree.
I just seen Morgan. Somebody needs to cut Morgan Moses. Said the stupidest thing I ever seen in my entire life. Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. So a reporter asked Morgan Moses about the season for Washington. Quote, I don't see this as a rebuilding year because the division is wide the hell open. Nigga, you look at your team is in shambles. We have young players. I talked about this.
Yeah, DJ, but
last night. I don't get no. There's
but the division is bad though.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't change the state of your team. When your team's in rebuild, it's for that season and maybe beyond.
I get what you're saying. It's a rebuild mode based on the personnel, but as far as winning the division,
if you just happen to fall in, what's going to happen? A team's going to fall into the division championship. It's not even going to be a team taking over, taking control. They just be like whoever's the last man standing out of all the people with no legs. Then it's. I'm like, that was a bad comment to say when the division is wide open. No, your team's in rebuild mode. Your ass may get replaced too.
Well, that's just like when they was talking to the players, and this is one of the worst comments I've heard for the Falcons. They were talking to the players about Dan Quinn leaving and what's the TD Thomas Dimitrov leaving. Mm-hmm. And they asked Ricardo Allen, which is our free safety, like, do you think y'all be able to turn things around this season? Guess what this fool said?
Oh boy.
He said, yeah, we could turn things around. Y'all don't remember that we was up 28-3 in the Super Bowl. I was like, what?
Oh my God. He was up 28-3 in that interview before he said that. Jesus Christ.
He said, yeah, things could turn around. Y'all got to remember, we was up 28-3 in the Super Bowl. Like, I was like, come on, bro. Really? You could have used any other, bro.
And it wasn't a situation with Morgan saying what he said that would have made him look bad and say, hey, if we happen to win the division, that's great. But right now we're trying to build something here. That would have been possibly better to say, but to say we're not something, I'm like, dude, you're the right tackle who's had injury issues. They're probably looking at your position right now because one, you get called for false starts like a motherfucker. You're playing through injuries right now, so we're looking at that O-line like we may need to rebuild this thing across the board. So you're not going to go into the playoffs. If your team happens to luck into if Washington, let's say if Washington were to win the division somehow, right? And with that roster, they would not leave the first round. Period. Whoever will come in, they'll beat the shit out of the Washington football team, and that'll be it. So I'm like, and then Morgan Moses needs to get his head checked. Jeez.
Yeah, but man, me and you right now, we're part of the poverty franchises right now. I mean, my Falcons, man,
my franchise has been in denial for the last few years. So for him to make that statement, he's part of the delusion. And also our fan base. Our fan base is full of shit.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, my fan base are okay. Some of them are actually rooting for Matt Ryan to go as well. But like, yo, he never was the problem with this team. It's like we got all this talent. It all goes back to coaching. That's what it is. And right. people don't want to say anything about it. It's crazy. So
yeah, you got people playing detectives over stuff that they don't have to. I don't know. Yeah.
It's crazy. Quaface said you're in rebuild mode. I agree, but I kind of see what he's trying to say as far as the division itself. But I mean, your team. I mean, yeah, I can see where you're being in rebuild mode. This is the first year coach. He don't have all the parts and pieces that he want, so it's going to be rebuild mode.
It's not even just that. It's like new coach, new coordinator because I didn't even know that Scott Turner. It's his first year calling the plays. It was his father calling the plays, Noah Turner in Carolina.
Right.
So there's a lot going on in Washington.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
we got a new GM. I would just say this much. In Washington, there's a lot of color there. A lot of non-color folks are not used to. Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Anything else you got? Am I watching GS on Georgia Southern ESPN? Hey, come on, man, is that a question?
Oh, and Complimentary Sports talked about 106.7 the Clan.
Yeah, he said that's why he gave up on him. He
Yeah.
said oh, well, wait a minute. He said, am I watching Georgia State? What? Muted. You lucky I'm in a good mood, boy. No, we don't watch Georgia State. Not at all. No, we don't watch the Georgia State Hello Kitties. We don't do that. No, absolutely not. But I'm watching Georgia Southern. I think they're going to be on ESPN2 this week. We're going to play UMass, so definitely I'm going to be watching that. So
remember when ESPN2 had the cool graphics versus the regular ESPN?
Yeah.
When ESPN2 first came out, they had like the skater die graphics.
Yeah, it was the skater with the little white 2 on it.
Yeah.
Man, things have changed, man. And the only one to actually do that now is like ESPNU because they is ESPN University and they try to make it look like a college. They have like little college looking graphic. But yeah, ESPN2 was supposed to be like the edgy and Mountain Dew style. It was crazy.
Man, I'd say another thing that 106, the Clan, they definitely had a field day when Kirk Cousins was here. They probably knew about his father and didn't say anything. Goddamn Klansman.
TD said, would you rather have a division or a top 5 pick? It depends.
We're in rebuild. We need a top 5 pick, preferably an old lineman. I don't think we need. See, if we would have to. No, if there's a lot of offensive linemen in the draft, then we could. Then I guess if stuff doesn't work out with Dwayne, I would go for another quarterback. If there are a lot of quarterbacks drafted, they're good ones. Somebody talked about we should go after another Ohio State quarterback. I was like, no. Let's just stop right there.
Man, I'm not getting back into Ohio State quarterback.
Let's just get a quarterback that's had at least 30 or more starts in college. So let's just start there. And it's funny because when I look back, the guy we had 2 quarterbacks that had 30 or more starts in college. You want to know who they were? Kirk Cousins and RG3, and we chased them both the hell away. So you fans can, oh God. I mean, as far as
honestly, it just depends on the team. Like with your team, DJ, I can see where the top 5 pick could be viable. But for the Falcons, I would like to get the division. I would like for us to go into the playoffs because if our team could mold and gel together, we are a dangerous team. I mean, it's not like we're a bad team. So if they could get together and go on a hot streak, we'll be very dangerous. But for a team like yours, I can see where a top 5 pick. I can see that.
Yeah, because I said in the past that year when Kirk Cousins first went on that hot streak. Because remember, he struggled. I'm like he came in games, he did okay, but then when he tried to start, which he admittedly said he was not ready, and this was like year 3 of Kirk Cousins. When he started and threw all them picks and stuff like that, he even said he wasn't ready. But when you go on a hot streak as a team that was like 5 and whatever at the time, and you make the playoffs, it just to me it encourages the fact that, hey, we're just a piece away. No, you're not. You weren't. You just the reason why you're there is because of a hot streak from one guy, and it just fed around the whole team. You're not going to be able to duplicate that the following year because you still have the same missing pieces, and you thought you were a piece away. No, you're many pieces, and now we're many more pieces away.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We're going to watch these games on Saturday and Sunday. I will be here on Saturday to promote the Georgia Southern UMass game. I got people that are not really Georgia Southern fans watching the games. They find the games entertaining. Yeah, I love my team, man. The guys are great. And I think they're going to show off the power of the Eagles against UMass. So it's going to be fun to watch. So DJ, what you got before we go?
Well, UMass is going to turn Georgia Southern into UMad. So with NHL, with my regular edition of NHL Unlocking at midnight, look for a stream tomorrow at, I would say, around between 7:30, 8 o'clock on Twitch. Screen name EVO325. Looking to do like a quick game and then maybe some be a pro career mode, since it looks like it's the career mode to go this year. I'm not going to do any franchise. I'm going to do that off stream as far as franchise mode, because one, I already know I'm setting the periods a little shorter for the stream, because y'all not going to want to sit there and watch me go through a 20-minute real-time period game. Trust me, you don't. So other than that, you can find me on DJ81 at Twitter. And yeah, it was a good show. It was a good turnout. We got some interesting interactions in the chat. Again, G-Rob, happy birthday. Happy 40th. Welcome to the 40 and over club. You know, we're at 40. We won't be over until next year.
Right,
but,
right.
You know, don't tear things up at the National Harbor, though. Don't do that.
Now I got a couple years ago before I get to 40. But congratulations and reaching that milestone, and happy birthday to G-Rob. I mean, totally understand why he's not here. I actually did not know it was his birthday. I kind of feel bad. But shout out to him and everybody here. Like I said, man, great interaction. This is the thing I like to see. I want to see like really, you know, good, positive interaction with what we do, even if we do disagree. Like when Izzy was here earlier, I think we ran him off. But I mean, even when he was here, you know, those type of interactions we like to see. I mean, because we all learn from each other based on our opinions, and I think that's a good thing. And like I said, I say this all the time. It's like we are talking with each other. We're not talking at each other, and I think that's the main thing about what we do here. And I really, really appreciate you guys rocking with us. I got a new series starting. I was going to upload the video today or yesterday, because yesterday was Wednesday. But I'm going to do it every Friday. It's going to be VF Classics. Now, what I do here, I basically play a game. And like say, if the game is like close, or if it's like an entertaining game, I will upload the entire game to the channel. Kind of similar to what I used to do a couple months back when I used to do like the NCAA 08, or if I did NCAA 14. I always try to upload those games if they're like close, or if they're or entertaining to watch. I don't want to put up a blowout or whatever. This game that I'm showing on tomorrow is on NCAA basketball 10. Me as Georgia Southern going up against George Mason, and it was a close game. I think you guys would enjoy watching it. Really good game. It looked like I try to play the games as close to sim as possible to make it seem like you're watching an actual game on television, because sometimes you may just want that. Some people do these little clips to show you how good they are. I like to show the struggles, and I think a lot of people who watch my Sunday night video, the Sunday retro stream, I struggled in that fighting game, but it was fun. That game was hard as shit too, but I end up beating the game. But I like doing that because it shows you that I'm really about this game of life. A lot of people edit their videos to show that they're beasts, but they don't want to live stream because they get their ass kicked. But that's another story for another day.
Right. What is it? Pooh in the chat talking about VF about to be 40. Yo, at some point I need to see some gray hair. Show your age.
Hey, man, listen, I got a few. I'm surprised none of y'all haven't seen them yet. I got a few gray hairs. Ain't that right, babe? No, she sleep. But yeah, I got a few gray hairs, man. Like I got a few of them, y'all just don't see it. I got a matter of fact, I got them right here in the beard right here. Now,
I had the same thing here too.
I got a few of them, but I mean they're hiding, so
right.
But I got a few. But yeah, like I said, VF Classics episode 1 is going to be. I'm gonna try to do this every Friday. Like I basically play the game and I got it DVR'd, and if the game is worth uploading, I put it up there every Friday so you guys can watch that. Also, the Sunday retro stream. I haven't come up with a game yet that I wanted to stream. Somebody in the chat earlier asked me to do Madden 12, and I thought about it because a couple weeks back, DJ, you said that the PS3 and the 360 is considered retro now because it's 2 generations back. So yeah. I may do that. Now I'm gonna show you a game that I did pick up.
Uh-oh.
I don't think I'm going to do this for a retro stream this Sunday, but I did pick this up, and I found it unique in the condition that I found it in. I think I put it out on Twitter that Capcom did make an NFL game. A lot of people don't know that, but they did, and this is the game right here.
Capcom MVP football. It's my Super Nintendo.
Made on Super Nintendo, and I got the whole box. Let me see if I can open this up. I got the box, the instruction manual. I got the whole 9. I might not be able to open this thing because it's sealed pretty tight the way it's in here. But yeah, I got this, and I thought it was pretty neat that when I found it in this condition, because it's in a plastic case, and a lot of people don't realize that Super Nintendo games came in this cardboard, and if you didn't take care of it, that cardboard would go to waste, and it would be terrible. So what I did was, the person who sold me this actually had it in this.
Laminated it?
No,
they had the protective plastic over.
Yeah, the protective plastic.
Oh,
yep.
Wow.
And the plastic is still on it. But what I did was, this was brand new. This was sealed. This was sealed on top of having this on it. So I didn't want to take the whole thing off. So I just only cut this part off. So the plastic is still on this end. And you open it, and it still has all the stuff. DJ, you might recognize this when you see this. It still has all the old stuff in. I mean, it still has all the stuff, and the stuff never been touched. It still has that.
Wow,
It even still has it still has the postcard and everything.
Wow.
It has the old Super Nintendo thing. And I don't know if you remember this. You could go to the Super Power Club.
Oh, God.
You can send that off and get your magazines.
To Nintendo Power?
Yep, you can still do
it.
And I still got the instruction, man. And you can look at this, looks like brand new. You got it shining off.
Right.
It was still new in box. So and one more thing, it came in the plastic. I don't think this game's ever been played before. Do you remember this? Do you remember this? When they had a little protective cover? Right. They got that, and it still has the Super Nintendo logo on it.
See, the way you can tell if it was played, if you look at the thing, the strip, the chip,
this,
and see if there's missing, like if there's stuff that's chipped away a little bit.
This is good. Look at that.
Okay, yeah, that game's never been played.
Yeah, this has never been played.
Yeah, that definitely has never been played.
Yeah, so I got that. Quaface asked, "Is it good?" I have no idea. I never played it. All I know is I was in the store and this thing said there was a Capcom's MVP football made by Capcom. I never knew Capcom made a sports game. I knew it was Tecmo, EA Sports, or Konami made sports titles, but I never knew Capcom. And so I found it interesting. So I may do this on one Sunday. So but somebody said Madden 12 for Sunday, so I may do that. I don't know yet, but we'll see. But what I do plan on doing probably next week, I might start getting those wrestling belts together, and we may start doing a CPU versus CPU only like pay-per-view every month or something like that. I think that would be pretty.
Oh boy!
So those are too good. Those are too good. But no, that other than that, we're good. Thanks to everybody who's here. And thanks everybody who came through, everybody who liked, shared the videos. Yeah, WrestleMania, it'll probably be WrestleMania 2000, or it may be another wrestling game. TD asked to do MVP Baseball 05. That would be a good retro stream. That would be a really good one. So thanks for the suggestion. So we'll see. Sunday we may do that. But other than that, we're good. One more time, DJ, you got anything?
I have nothing else. I'm just waiting for NHL 21 to unlock on my console so I can get to playing.
It'll be less than 2 hours.
Yep, less than 2.
Once again, man, check out all the links: Teespring, Patreon, Discord. If you haven't already, buy the merch. If you haven't already, check out the like I said, the Discord. If you've done all that already, subscribe to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Spotify. And if you already done all of that, man, just like and share the video. Also, if you haven't gone already, go to one of those platforms where the podcast is and give us a good rating. I know a couple people gave us 5 stars on iTunes. Really appreciate that. And give us the highest rating on all the other ones. We really appreciate it. We're trying to grow and want you guys to grow with us and join this movement where we talk about sports and sports gaming and enjoy ourselves at the same time. All right, so DJ will be around tomorrow for his stream. You'll see my video on Friday. You'll see me on Sunday, and we'll be back here on. Well, nope, I'll be doing a stream on Saturday as far as Georgia Southern goes, and we'll be back here on the podcast on Tuesday. So you guys be easy, you guys be safe, and wear your mask and don't catch the Rona. All right, guys, we're going. Peace.
Peace.